Hey, Aurora with Supercharged Science, Homeschool Science curriculum programs for K through 12. And today I'm going to teach you how to make two super easy rockets using everyday materials. One's going to be a chemical rocket and the other one's going to be a pneumatic rocket. Now if you like this and you want more, there's more rocket projects on my website. I've actually written up a really cool science experiment activity guidebook that includes 5 more rockets you can do after this one. So just go to www.superchargedscience.com/rockets. Super easy to remember, right? superchargedscience.com/rockets. And there are even more rocket projects after we do this one. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, you're just going to need some everyday materials. So here, I've got them on my desk for you. Let's see. I have things like a glue gun, I have a water bottle, I've got some straws, and I've got some baking soda, vinegar, toilet paper. I've also got some sheets of paper and tape and scissors, like regular everyday stuff you should already have. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, so let's do the chemical one first. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing we want to do is we're going to take, now back in the day I would say, okay, now get your Fuji film canisters out, and people nowadays are like, my what? So instead of Fuji film canisters, kids, you need to tell your mom to go and get you some candy. So you're going to, after the candy is gone, this is an M&M container, but really any container that has a tight-fitting lid, something that can pop off is the kind you want. You can also use a cork, stick a marshmallow in there, something to block off the end if you don't have one of these. I'm actually going to cut this off just like that. So now it's completely removable. You see that? Okay, so don't worry if you don't have these materials. You don't have to do this with me. Just watch so you know what to do. This is super simple. Okay, so just make sure, again, you've got a tight-fitting lid. There's an infinite number of possibilities. This is just one I happened to get yesterday while at the grocery store. Okay, so what are we going to do? First, we're going to put some vinegar into this guy. Now, you don't have to use baking soda and vinegar. You can use anything that makes bubbles, right? Any reaction here. I'm filling it up about 1/3. But that's actually going to be one of the questions. You can use Alka-Seltzer and water. You can use potatoes and vinegar. You can use any 2 chemicals that when you combine them, they make a lot of bubbles. So this could be a really cool thing to try out with your kids because there's lemon juice in the house. I'm sure you have lots of things that kids can experiment with. We don't want kids bringing out the Drano or anything, so make sure you do this safely. Okay, so we've got that, and whoop, looks like my toilet paper's over here. Hang on, let me get it. All right, and for the toilet paper, I'm actually going to cut, you can use a piece of like tissue paper or even a piece of like a Kleenex. Kleenex is, if you've got the 2-ply, just make sure you're only using 1. Okay, so we're just going to use a piece of toilet paper, and we're going to make a little package. So I've got my baking soda here, baking soda, and I'm going to sprinkle some and make myself a little packet of baking soda. Okay, and so what this is going to do, so I'm just going to fold it and put it inside the toilet paper, and I'll use another piece if my piece is too small. So this is going to be a time delay, and we actually, back in chemistry lab, we would do these with test tubes, and so we would make a little packet of baking soda, and then we would put the vinegar in the bottom of the test tube, just like this, and stick this near the top. We'd make it big enough so you would have to push it. And then we put the cork on and give it a good shake. So we're going to put the cork on, and you tell me what's going to happen when we give this thing a shake. Because right now the baking soda is here, the vinegar is there. What do you think? Okay, so you have 2 options. You can do it this way, or you can flip it upside down. Make sure you do this outside. And the challenge now to give your kids is what ratio, how much baking soda to how much vinegar will make, whichever part flies off, go the highest. So this is where you just want to start the ink, because how do I want to say this? Kids usually know that baking soda and vinegar make bubbles, but to make it do something interesting and be able to be scientific about it, this is where the science really happens. Because, it's cool to make things go whiz-bang, but at the end of the day, who cares? What you really need to do is inspire their curiosity about, does more baking soda help? Does it help if I warm up the vinegar first? And so now they're curious and they're wanting to find out answers to their own questions, because that's what science is, right? Asking questions, getting back answers. Okay, so I'll give this one a shake. Whoop! I had my finger on it, didn't I? And it charged up. It charges up really quickly. All right, so let me go ahead and move on to the next one. I love it when science makes a mess, don't you? Okay, so the next one is pneumatic rockets. And this one you're going to need a water bottle for, or it could be an empty shampoo bottle, it could be a soda bottle, whatever you want. You're going to take a pair of scissors, and this is a good grown-up one because you're going to be kind of taking the cap and putting a hole in it that's large enough to fit a straw. You see that? Okay, so that's all we're doing. And so now this, if you've ever seen stomp rockets, this is a stomp rocket. So we have air inside of an empty water bottle or another plastic container. And I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue to make this airtight. Okay, I'm going to add it around where the straw is piercing through the cap. And then, okay, and then what we're going to do is we are going to, oops, I put it on upside down, didn't I? Okay, so hang on, let me get another one. So if you've got a bendy straw, I didn't notice the last one was bendy, you want the shorter end to go into your cap, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to make it airtight again by adding another layer of hot glue. Okay, and now you can stomp on it, and this is your launch rod, and we're going to make a rocket. So if you have another straw that's a different size, it'll slide on top of the smaller straw. If you don't, here's a little cheap way of doing this. Here's a little trick. What you do is you take your straw and you slice up only one side of it, start to cut it, and you're going to slice it up a couple of inches, just like this. So I went up about that high. I don't know if you can see this, like that. Went up about that high. But there. Now what I can do is I can size it by putting it over the straw, okay, and then it kind of stops. So if you want it on more, you can slice it up more. But if you squeeze this, and put your hand here, you'll notice that the air is coming out of this little slice that we just made in the bottom of the straw. So while this is in place, you're going to place a small piece of tape on the outer straw, because right now, because it's larger, and the slice we made, it's actually opened a little bit, and we need to cover that opening. So we're going to do it just like that. Okay, so now I've just made a slightly larger straw. Does that make sense? Okay, so we just cut it, opened it up, and taped it to the right size. Okay, so now if I squish this, a lot of the air is coming out the end, right? Actually, probably most of it. So you can either stick this in a piece of clay, which will add a little bit of weight, or you can take the end and kind of bend it over on itself like this, and then you can also clog it up with hot glue, I suppose. You can add a piece of tape and tape it shut, okay, because we don't want the air to escape. Okay, and then your last step is to add some fins. Now you can cut these out of paper, you can cut these out of index cards, you can make as many fins as you like. And the easiest way to stick the fins on are with two pieces of tape. So you'll take a triangle of a fin and you'll put it near the bottom, so not the part that we taped at the top, but along the bottom, and we'll tape it on. And you notice it's kind of floppy. So we'll take another piece of tape and put it on the other side like that. And now it stands up, see, just like that. And you can do that. I'm just going to put 2 fins on, but you can put on 6, you can put on 10, you can put on 3, however many fins you feel is a good number for yours. And it's okay to overlap the tape and put some tape on the other fin, that's totally fine. Now, by the way, if you just joined us, I'm Aurora with Supercharged Science, Homeschool Science programs and curriculum for K through 12. If you like this and you want more, you can do more. Here, maybe I'll do one more fin. You can do more projects by going to superchargedscience.com/rockets. I put this whole cool little guidebook together of my favorite rockets, including how to make a rocket car. So you can get that as well. So it's superchargedscience.com/rockets. Okay, so you see how it kind of looks like a rocket, and we have the open end here, closed end here. Here's our rocket launcher. We made it out of stuff from the recycling can. And you can imagine what comes next. So you're going to put this on the floor, stomp on it, or just hold it in your hand, and then when you squish it, whoops, there we go, it's stuck on the tape. You want to make sure you don't tape this or glue this, and you want to make sure it goes up and down really easily, so it'll want to fly off. Okay, and so when you squish it, it'll actually take off. So one of the, whoops, there it goes. So one of the questions you can ask your kids is, what happens if you use a bigger container? Or what if you make this longer? Or the neck is longer? Or if you add more fins? Or you put a weight to the nose? So there's lots of different variations. And honestly, here, let me back up a little bit. That's what science is. Science isn't about making a science kit and making an engine for the first time, right? You know, anybody could follow the directions, well, mostly anybody can follow the directions and make something like that. So science is about asking questions and getting back answers. And you don't need anything special. You just need some basic stuff from around the house. But you also need a framework to follow, which means you're presenting kids with a topic, you know, pneumatics and how we squish the air. And when you squish here, poof, stuff comes out the other end, right? So higher pressure pushes. Or in the other one, we put two chemicals together, and they created a high pressure. So instead of us squeezing this, we used chemistry to generate that, the air pressure that made the rocket go or made the cap fly up. So we're presenting them with an idea, and then we're asking them questions about it. And like, well, how can you get it to go higher? How can you get it to go further? And so these are the questions that real scientists ask all the time. In fact, somebody was just asking about solar-powered airplanes, and actually they're in development right now. They're solar flying wings. I think Boeing has a couple of them, and there are different companies that are working on them. And those projects came about because people are asking questions, like how do we make a solar power? How do we make it so people can fly just using the power of the sun? And so there's a lot of different ways you can do this. So with your kids, with your homeschool kids, when you're working on your projects, don't get hung up in the details. If you don't have an M&M container, you don't need one. Just use a test tube, or just use something that you have, like a container with a tight-fitting lid. So just use something basic. And actually, Alka-Seltzer and water will work. As I mentioned, hydrogen peroxide and potatoes works great. So you can do baking soda and vinegar, baking soda and baking powder with vinegar. So there's a lot of different variations here. If you don't have vinegar, use lemon juice. This is science at its core. This is us asking questions, designing an experiment, and getting back answers. This is all it is. There is a certain area of science that you want to memorize, factoids, and that happens more in life science and biology. But you need to understand the processes first. That's why in high school, you're going to start with physics, then you go to chemistry, and then you go to biology. And if you do it the flip way, it's really confusing, and you often don't get to that depth in biology and in life science or in geology that you can really appreciate, because you need to know your foundations first. And you start the foundations by doing, when the kids are younger, before they get to high school, projects like this. So super easy, super simple. In fact, last week I showed you how to make a hologram, just using stuff from the recycling that was clear, flexible plastic, and a cell phone. And so you can do all kinds of really cool projects like this, including making your own telescope, making your own microscope. You can make hovercraft. You can make solar batteries. Batteries that only work when they're in the sun, just like your own solar cell. Up here, where is it? Up by that rotating world is actually a car that runs just on sunlight and fuel. So sunlight and fuel, sunlight and water. So the sunlight comes in to the solar cell, which breaks it apart into the hydrogen and oxygen, runs it through another part, combines that, gets a little puff of energy out, turns the wheel, and then goes back around and around and around, just using the power of the sun in addition to what's embedded in the water. So there's lots of cool things you can do with your kids. And so if you like this, you want more, go to my website, www.superchargedscience.com, and I hope to see you guys soon, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.